Welcome to Pinnacle's Human Performance Project, where we believe that high performance isn't just for the elite athlete, it's a lifestyle and a standard. Today, my guest here is Keenon Ward. He was a four-sport athlete in Snyder and then went on to play at Texas Tech at safety for 4 years and was also a team captain during that time. Now he's a full-time real estate professional as he also navigates raising his son.
Amen.
Bro, I am excited about having you here.
You killed that, by the way.
I appreciate it.
You
First
bet.
try, just so y'all know. For the people that don't know, me and Keenan know each other. We both got Snyder roots, and so I remember, I'm a little bit older than you. I remember all I was hearing about this Keenan guy, moving to Snyder, and he was like the star offensive football player. So I remember going to a few games, going back, and I was like, dang, being blown away.
Yeah.
So man, it's been pretty cool watching your journey from afar because we haven't obviously us being 5-6 years apart. We weren't super close or anything like that.
Right.
But it's cool how now we see kind of our journey converging a little bit more, and so excited for you and all the things that God has done in your life, and just seeing, man, how the testimony that you have has been pretty cool. So, man, one thing that I really wanted to have you here for is to talk about exactly that, your journey. I mean, the what it took from you to going to high school, a relatively small town,
Sure.
Snyder, Texas.
Yeah.
We don't think of Snyder as just pumping D1 athletes
Yeah.
here left and right. We think of Sonny Cumby and there's been a few others that have made it out of there. So one thing that I want to kind of kick it off with is what did it take for you as a high school athlete in a small town? And I
Yeah.
remember us talking that you actually moved away for a little bit and then you
Mhm.
decided to come back because you missed your friends and things like that.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that process of what it was like from a small town. How did you get noticed by a Power Five Division I football team?
Yeah. So, like you said, man, we're both from Snyder, the 325. I represent Snyder any chance I get because I just knew how underrated of a town we were. We had a lot of talent, and
Mm-hmm.
growing up, we were 5 years apart, but watching guys like you, Will Clay, Lance Day, super good athletes just never get looked at, really just instilled that, like, all right, I got to go prove it at a young
Sure.
age.
Yeah.
And being from Snyder, there's not a lot to do. So whether that's good habits or bad habits, you're gonna get good at one of the two.
Right.
So I feel like just watching you guys ahead of me really instilled those good habits early. And like you said, I moved away from Snyder for that reason. I uh, I just felt like I was, no matter how good I wasn't going to get a fair shot, a fair look by any college. And so I moved to Houston and started going to camps, started just putting my name out there, getting as much exposure as I could. And I realized, like, man, I'm better than these guys out here in Houston too. And I just miss West Texas. I miss my
Yeah.
boys. And I was like, I'm gonna move back and try to go, get a state championship with my guys. So moved back, and like you said, I think just being from Snyder, and obviously, like, I had never faced adversity up until college. I was just gifted enough that I was good. I knew I was good, but I had a good baseline of habits that set me apart from everybody else, aside from talent.
Sure.
So I think it took one coach, and it was Sonny Cumby. He was at Tech, who took a risk on a West Texas kid, his hometown, conveniently, and he was my first offer. Um, and then after he offered, I had five other schools offer, so I ended up with six offers. And coming from Snyder, that's a big deal, right?
Yeah. Sure.
And that's kind of how the process went. I was lucky enough that I got to play all four sports in high school. That was just a thing that we did. When football was over, it was always nice to hang up the cleats and hop into basketball. After basketball, you're going to baseball off season. You're running track. Like, that was just like everybody did that in Snyder. And it's hard now seeing all these parents and kids like focusing on one sport, because I think me being an athlete, playing four sports really set me apart even at the college level. And so I'm sure we'll dive into that. But I think it was super beneficial for me as a football player that I got to play everything growing up, for sure.
So one thing that I'm hearing is that I was going to ask you is, and you answered it for me. You playing for sports, you would say that that's a positive thing, rather than maybe being a net considered a negative because you don't ever truly experience an off season,
Yeah,
right?
that too. And I think I got to avoid the burnout aspect that I think a lot of parents
That's
overlook.
huge. Yeah.
Um, as much as I wanted to play football all year, it hurt me to have to hang up the cleats and go into basketball and be a leader on the basketball team too. But I think hindsight, like that made me a better athlete,
Mm-hmm.
and that made me do things I necessarily didn't want to do, but I knew it was going to be for the betterment of the team, for me to play basketball and play baseball. And so I think that really set me apart from like when adversity hits, like how are you going to respond? And I just always responded with like, what's next?
Yeah.
And I think if you just dial in on one sport, like a lot of kids are doing now, when things don't go your way, like it's just you've never really had that adversity because you're doing what you love. I necessarily didn't love basketball, but playing it made me a better teammate. It made me just face things like I didn't want to be out there, right? But I still did it, still finished what I started, and that just really set me apart, even in the Big 12.
I think that's a big what you're speaking on is the mindset part, right?
Yeah,
Of
absolutely.
of of finishing the things that you start and making sure that you see them all the way through, even if
Exactly.
you don't enjoy them,
Yeah,
But that's the thing is we do hard things and we do them joyfully, right?
absolutely.
And then usually how we get rewarded, we don't see those things in hindsight,
Yeah,
But then I bet you looking back now, I'm sure back then there you probably weren't really thinking that way. It was just maybe this natural gifted ability that you
yeah,
had.
yeah.
But
I could do it and do it well enough that it didn't really bother me.
right,
Not
right.
knowing that there was a ton of growth on that.
Sure,
You know what I
sure.
mean? Doing something I didn't want to do.
Yeah. So I'm identifying that gift that you had, and obviously you were very gifted athletically. The thing that we see now is we have a lot of athletes that are multi-sport athletes,
Yeah,
and I do lean more towards athletes playing multiple sports. It helps develop different athletic traits
absolutely.
as well as you mentioned burnouts. How did you at the time? Did you do anything extra outside of just the school workouts, or did you, for example, yeah, every Saturday I'd be up at the park doing sprints, or yeah, I'd get extra weight room time. Was there any of that you did, or was it just kind of like no, it was just me playing sports and then school workouts?
Right. Yeah, I feel like I probably didn't do enough in
Yeah,
high school. Again,
but some of that is limited resources
yeah,
and also lack of what to do, right?
exactly. Like
Because I mean, coming from Snyder,
we didn't
we
have
didn't we
much.
didn't have like a company that was training
We didn't have a
athletes. Yeah,
pinnacle or anything like that. So
right,
I feel like just from a resource standpoint, I probably was behind the curve. Probably not at the time, but you compare the way I grew up to kids now, definitely so. But man, I just like again, like my baseline for what hard work and consistency looked like was higher than most athletes even at the time. Just, I learned that when I got to Tech and I was outworking these guys who
mm-hmm.
South Lake Carroll or just massive schools in Dallas and Houston, San Antonio. Like I was still outworking these guys, so my baseline was higher, and I could only imagine if we would have had a health and wellness facility training athletes in Snyder, what that would have
Right,
done for a lot of players
yeah,
that I grew up
yeah,
with. But I feel like I did more, but I could have taken it to new heights in high school. I definitely let my athleticism kind of just coast me through.
yeah. Well, but I think you compensated through that, obviously with your God given gifts,
Yeah.
but then also the mindset part is what
Yeah.
kind of kept you in it. Because I guarantee that when you were doing your school workouts, that same intensity
Oh,
was
for sure.
being, so you were getting probably the most out of what you had, which was school workouts,
Yeah.
rather than some kids just kind of jacking around and playing, playing
I
around during
mean,
those times.
as you know, Coach Rogers, like our workouts were the
Yeah,
real deal.
yeah,
And
yeah.
we just
That dude
thought
was a dude, man.
yeah, we just thought it was another day in Snyder,
Right,
but
right,
little did I know he was setting me up to just destroy workouts at Tech.
right,
So I
right.
feel like our baseline at Snyder was so much higher than what we thought it was when you compare it to other schools and programs. I think we did a lot.
At what point did you feel like it became real for you? Like, okay, hey, like was it that first Tech offer that you were like, oh, okay, this is real now. I'm gonna go
Yeah.
D1, or did you already have a belief or a mindset that before that? Did you go to tons of camps during the summer and get noticed and talk to coaches? Like, what point did you kind of feel like, okay, yeah, I can do this?
Yeah. I think when I moved to Houston, I was hitting Houston, LSU, Rice camps every summer. That was the
Mm-hmm.
whole reason I moved, just for exposure. And I'd go there and compete really well. And I hadn't even played in the Houston system yet. This was all stuff I had learned from Snyder.
What
And
school did you go to in Houston, by the
it was
way?
a Christian school, Houston, or Dickinson Pine Drive.
Okay,
So
okay,
it's a small school in a big town.
yeah,
So I went to this Christian school for one semester, and I felt like I took a step back because
Yeah.
the comp just wasn't there.
Right.
Moved to Dickinson High, which was a 5A school at the time, and literally as a freshman was already getting like looked at to play slot receiver starting as a
Yeah.
freshman, which was a
Yeah.
big deal. Uh, but then I just came back to Snyder because I
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna make it happen regardless. But yeah, it was probably after I went to those camps in the summer as a freshman that I just saw a lot of guys who had 20, 30 offers at the time. I was just still competing with them.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just took a risk on myself. Like, I'm gonna go home with my boys, and if I get an offer, cool. If not, at least I can say I went out in
Yeah.
West Texas where I belong, you
Yeah.
know. But I'd say it started feeling real around my junior year when like the 3 or 4 other offers came in, and then I got big or Texas High School Player of the Year, All State. I had a
Right.
All
The
State junior,
accolades started
sophomore,
rolling
or
in.
sophomore, junior, senior year. So they started rolling in a few offers, and yeah, I kind of got real around that
Yeah.
my junior year for
Okay.
sure.
Um, so during that time when you're getting these offers and the awards are starting to come in, who kept you humble during that time?
A lot of that goes to Coach Rogers
Yeah.
for sure. I just thought
Did he
there.
ever wrestle you?
Oh yeah, all the
Yeah.
time up until the offers came in.
I
Then he's
remember
like
when
kind
that
of,
dude would
dude,
would humble
talk
me
about
real
that
quick.
bear claw, man.
Yeah, dude,
Trauma.
he stick that butt chin right in my eyeball, dude.
Shout out Chad
With
Rogers
yeah, for real.
for
He
real.
had he had a he had that stubble, man. It felt like I don't know what's the grit on it, man, but it felt like sandpaper all up in my eye. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would agree, man. He was good at pushing you in a
Oh
way
yeah.
to get the best out of you, but also if he saw you were getting a little, he would do that during film sessions too.
Oh
You
yeah.
you got you a sack or something, and or I made a good play, and I'm expecting to get praise, man,
Yeah. That
and
red light comes on you.
yeah,
Next thing you know, you're getting
I
slapped.
know, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, I thought I did good,
Yeah.
but
He definitely kept me humbled. It's funny because I just thought for sure I was going to play offense. I played offense my whole life, committed to technical play receiver. So I was like, this is like exactly how it's supposed to be
yeah,
drawn up. Like this is the path, and there was no other way around it. But Coach Rogers would make me do DB drills every single day, and I just like, what are we doing?
yeah,
I'm not playing DB.
yeah,
Funny enough, I ended up starting at safety for four
yeah,
years, so he kind of saw it. But yeah, he just had a way of keeping you humbled.
hmm
Him and my mom, like I never really let ego get to me. And just being raised in Snyder, man, we're grateful for everything. We work hard, keep our head down.
yeah,
That was just something that we take pride in for sure.
yeah, I agree. Okay, so you're kind of talking about that, man. I remember hearing that you're going to tech, and I was like, dang, that's cool. I remember
Yeah,
being excited for you, um, and then you see that I start watching Tech those first games, man, and I'm seeing you. I'm like, I'm looking for you on offense, bro. I'm like, this dude's about to tear it up, man. I
man.
think they're probably gonna put him maybe slot or maybe some running back or something.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, and then all of a sudden, man, I see you on defense, and I'm like,
Like, bro, what?
what is going on, dude? That threw me for a loop, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so walk me through a little bit of that day, bro. Like you're walking into the coach's office and they're like, we got some news for you. They're telling you you're gonna have to play defense. Cause at the time, y'all were pretty stacked in like slot receiver,
Oh yeah, we
right?
were
And
deep, but
so,
that never scared me. The
yeah,
depth of it.
yeah.
I came here to play receiver, and that's just what I was set on.
Hmm.
Whether that meant red shirting or whatever, I was gonna earn my PT through weights, through film, through everything I needed to do. Like
Right.
that didn't scare me at
Yeah.
all.
So, but again, you walk into that I'm guessing you had a meeting with the coaches or something,
Yeah,
right? Where they broke that news to you. Just kind of take me a little bit through that day. How was that?
yeah. So we had our first freshman workout. Everything was great. I felt like we had 3 4-star recruits in that class, two at receiver, and it was just like sprints, weight training, some agility work, and
Hmm.
I was just right there with everybody. And then get called to a meeting, and I mean, it was just like one of those things where you walk in, it's just dark, it's quiet, Sonny's in the back. I'm like, this is weird. But it was essentially just like, hey, Keenan, do you want to play football this year? And as an 18-year-old kid, first day on campus, the answer was, hell yeah, coach, I want to play
Yeah.
whatever you need me to do. And it was like, all right, well, we're going to move you to safety. And at the time, we only had 4 safeties: Cody Davis, Trey Porter, JJ Gaines, and another guy. So I was going to already be fighting for a backup spot as a true freshman, which was cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I said, let's do it. Not even like, whatever you say, coach, I'm down. But like, there was just so much like frustration, confusion. I committed to tech as a 16-year-old kid,
Yeah, and
to play
probably thinking you're
receiver.
gonna play
Yeah,
offense, right?
that's just what it was going to be.
Yeah,
And of course, yes, sir, coach, whatever you need me to do.
right.
Not like I had never played safety. I played a few plays of like go cover this guy in high school, but never like fundamentally sound safety in high school or
Yeah,
growing up at all.
sure.
But hopped on it, and man, it was one of the biggest moments of adversity I'd ever faced up until that point. Just because I was just so confused, scared, like, oh, they're trying to devalue me as a player. Like
Right.
I can play receiver. That's
Yeah,
what I do.
yeah.
So of course the thoughts of transferring, the thoughts of like this isn't gonna work were all
Mhm.
there. But little did I know, man, sticking at safety would be the turning point of my life. And we'll get into it of how that has developed me as a person
Yeah.
for sure.
Because of that adversity,
Yeah,
right, man? We gotta have it in order for us to self-reflect
for
sometimes.
sure.
And I think ultimately when we come outside of that adversity, man, God always shows us like this is what I was building you
The whole
in
time.
you the whole time, you
Yeah,
know? So do you feel like that during that time, because you hear about this like people should be trying to advocate for themselves more.
sure.
Did you see other guys sometimes um, push back with the coaches? Like I know now the
Right.
landscape's different,
It's
bro.
crazy.
Hey, I'm if you don't like say you're a top receiver and they come and tell you you're gonna play defense. All right,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
hey,
I'm out.
peace. I
Yeah.
got another school that's
Yeah.
gonna pay me, right?
Yeah.
So did you feel like looking back on it now, or was that even a thing at the time? But because it's just a different landscape now, was that even a
Yeah.
thing for guys to push back?
I mean, it was a lot different. I mean, if you transferred then, and this was just, 10 years ago, I mean, you had to fight for your right to
Yeah.
wherever you transferred because you'd already quit on your team prior. What makes you think you're not going to quit again?
Hmm.
So it was frowned upon to transfer.
And you lost a year back then, right?
Yeah,
Like potentially
if you transferred within conference,
within.
yeah, you'd
Okay.
burn that
Yeah.
year. But it never really, like, of course it was like I could transfer. A lot of dudes transfer, but being from Snyder, man, having that chip on my shoulder, I was like, I'm just gonna prove it. I've been
Yeah.
proving it my whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I can actually prove it with hard work and that West Texas grit and all those things that have made Keenan Keenan.
Hmm.
Like it's time to just go do it.
Yeah.
And then, man, it worked out. I killed it in the weight room that off season. Put on 10 pounds, got to 210. Was fundamentally sound already. So like I caught on super quick.
Yeah.
And then redshirted redshirt freshman year, ended up starting 7 games. And by that time, like I was good. Like people who like Jason Morrow, Bradley Marquez, these are dudes who played in the league. Like they have so much respect in me because they probably could have never did what I did.
Hmm. Yeah.
I chose to stay, one, and I became a damn good safety.
Yeah.
Even if I didn't love it, I was good enough to do it and do it at a high level.
Yeah.
So again, we'll talk about just like what those traits of me going through that have led to.
Hmm.
But I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't have transferred even if I could.
Yeah. That's good, man.
Yeah.
Okay, you hit on it a little bit because this is what I'm curious about. You mentioned you hit the weight room hard, and you put on 10 pounds.
Yeah. Went from 185 to 205 in
That
5 months.
what was y'all's strength and conditioning looking like back then? I mean, was it and I guess like from speaking from what we do, was it I've had guys that I've talked to from tech that depending on the strength and conditioning coach, the head strength and conditioning coach that was there,
Yeah.
one guy was telling me, man, he was like an ex Navy SEAL, so like our workouts were kind of like Navy SEAL, like military style workouts, and I'm thinking, well, that's not really going to develop athleticism. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Like maybe obviously a lot of mental toughness,
For sure.
which I guess there was those years when Tech's defense,
Oh,
you had to be a little mentally tough to be
I
giving up that.
had to, brother.
Yeah, but
Facts.
and that's not a dig at the defense or anything. I'm just saying, was there any what was it like during that time? I just like more. I want to learn more inside of
Sure.
what y'all did during for y'all strength and conditioning, so I can compare it kind of to what the landscape is now.
Yeah. See, like I had two strengths coaches, and I don't think you'd want to take anything from what either of them did.
Yeah,
Joe Walker was just a meathead. Like I put on 15 pounds in 6 months. He was a get your bagels type of guy.
yeah,
Like just stack weights. We run and we stack more weights.
Okay.
And dude, we were strong. We were like literally the strongest we'd ever been through
Mhm.
under Joe Walker, but the injuries were high. The recovery was just so low. I mean,
Yeah.
we'd cold plunge, hot tub, but there was no real like wellness work
Yeah.
as
The
far as
vol the so,
mobility.
like, the volume and intensity was always pretty high?
Always high.
Yeah,
I mean, we were
okay.
maxing out on game weeks, just crazy
Yeah,
stuff like that,
that
right? And
is
we thought
yeah.
it was normal, like we were strong as hell.
Sure.
And then we got another Green Beret in Rusty Witt, who
Mhm.
was military based. Again, maybe not as much like high intensity, but it was all just mental,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
We do things like strap on a 40-pound weight vest, go run to every step of the Jones, run across the street. We'd have to hold barbells that were connected like from sideline to sideline, like
Yeah.
uh
Man,
like
that's a
like the
drastic
yeah,
change,
like
like
what is it, like the the weakest link, like
yeah,
everybody helps each other, like that built a lot of camaraderie and like the
yeah,
team
sure.
aspect. We did a lot of stuff with that. But none of my strength coaches really focused on the recovery aspect. It was all just cold plunge, hot tub,
Okay.
just small minute things
Yeah,
that we really probably should have taken to new heights, to higher levels
yeah.
when I was playing.
Not as much accessory, like,
Yeah,
lifts or, like, mobility stuff
it
or
was
things
all
like
just
that?
max out.
Okay. Yeah.
Just high intensity every day, it seemed like.
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Because I feel like the biggest, like, it's gone. Obviously, there's still a season for that,
Yeah,
for like the max effort lifting and the volume and the intensity super high,
but not in season.
but not in
You know
season.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
I mean, one thing we look like now, you don't want to go all the way to the other spectrum where you completely leave the weight
Yeah,
room
for sure,
either.
for sure.
But I think what I'm seeing now in the landscape is we got way more technology that we use
Yeah,
for tracking. I mean, we got GPS tracking for top end speed. We have force plates. We got lasers. All this stuff now, which I think is useful.
for sure.
Um, but I do think that because of just the era that we're in, even you being a little younger than me, social media wasn't as big as
Yeah,
it
at
is
all,
now, right? And
at
so
all,
there's just so much more knowledge out there to learn, and it's being shared more and more.
for
And
sure.
once you sift through it all, strength and conditioning has come a long way. And I think coaches are really starting to figure out, okay, this is what we do in season. Yeah, we want to try and maybe touch 85 to 90%
Right.
of these guys' top speed and maybe some of their weights. But yeah, we ain't going to be
We got to know when
maxing.
to let off, when to back
Right,
off of that, and
right.
really dive into the wellness part and get this guy recovered.
Right. So
Right.
you see a lot more of that going on during in season.
Yeah.
Guys are hitting mobility. They're playing mobility days. They may. I mean, I see crazy things where they're bringing in like yoga instructors and
Yeah.
Pilates and doing,
Yeah.
which is great.
Absolutely.
I think that stuff, being mobile and allowing your body to move through wider ranges of
For
motion,
sure.
is gonna help keep you healthier.
I
You
agree.
can't ever eliminate injury sport, but now we know that we can reduce it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's interesting that you got to experience a little bit of what I've heard, which is kind of the military
Yeah.
stuff,
Just pump it till you can't no more,
or
man. And yeah.
or just blast the weights till and get you as strong as
Yeah.
possible. But that doesn't always translate to A, keeping you healthy, and then
Yeah.
B, it doesn't like it makes you strong, but that doesn't always translate to like speed and maybe you're powerful, but it's still there's another gap to be
For
taken
sure.
that's missing there for it to translate to speed. So
Yeah.
that's good. Did do you feel like from what you hear or from your circle, obviously you still have ties to tech. Do you think that anything that was being done back then has been lost now?
I mean, yeah, like I went out to practice like this past week, and fall camp in itself is just so different, right?
Yeah.
They got one practice, and we had a true 2 days, right? Padded up both sessions,
Mm-hmm.
and they just have 1 2.5 hour practice. They have recovery stations. It's just like it's crazy to see because the fall camp we went through was just like what you imagine what fall camp would be. A
Yeah.
true 2 days. I mean, we've got blow up mattresses in the locker room because we're not leaving.
Yeah.
16-hour days, and these guys just have a lot more freedom. So it's funny to see. Like I appreciate uh, how they've like pulled off the intensity
Sure.
because it is a long game, right? The goal
Yeah.
is to keep these 75 guys healthy going into December. That's the
Right.
goal, and we just weren't set up that way. So seeing how they operate now is like a refresher. Like okay, they they can still enjoy the game. They can still build a balanced life
Mm-hmm.
without having that burnout sensation that just comes when you're in the facility for 18 hours a day.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's probably the main thing for me that I've
That's
seen.
been lost.
Yeah,
Okay. Man, that's interesting because you see that even in the NFL, and
yeah,
sometimes, man, I don't know any statistics, but I know that you're watching mainly the NFL because you see guys that are familiar. Obviously there's tons of colleges out there, universities, but man, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like even with the changes that we've seen in strength and conditioning and recovery and, backing off 2-a-days and things like this,
yeah,
you still see lots of injuries, man. And so it's like sometimes you wonder,
right.
like, is it just a bad year,
Yeah,
or is the backing off
part of the
maybe
problem.
part of
Right.
the problem?
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? Is
yeah,
it making our bodies a little softer,
for sure,
to not to be as resilient, essentially,
for sure.
So I'm just curious that that that's what you've seen with you actually having access to some of these practices and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I just feel like it's a line that's just gonna be hard to figure. It's such a gray area, right? You back off a guy, and when he gets hurt, you're like, damn, we probably could have pushed him a little bit harder
sure,
so that he was able to bounce off this injury a little bit quicker.
yeah,
Or you'd overload a guy like kind of the how we went through it. Like you just get this guy so strong that he's just injury proof. And
right,
that's when the tears come. That's when, man, I swear we had more tears than anybody in the country. But
yeah,
we were strong. Like our bones were strong. Like
yeah,
we were mentally strong. But it was just like those minute tears that come when you're just at
right.
full max capacity
Yeah.
all the time.
And I just wonder how much of it is just like, some of these strength and conditioning coaches are great. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. And their programming is awesome. But honestly, I wonder how much of it is just like luck.
Yeah.
You've been fortunate enough,
Yeah.
or, God got his hand on you to bless you with the career that you've had
Yeah.
because, you've been on teams where that haven't had that many
For
injuries.
sure.
And I think some of that is, I don't think it's all true. I do think the programming absolutely matters, but I think some of it is just,
Pure luck, man.
pure luck as
Yeah.
well. 1 year you just got a bunch of ACLs that tear,
I agree.
because again, 70% of them are non-contact in the first place.
Yeah.
So, it does happen. So you mentioned, where you're at now, obviously as a professional, you're still strongly tied to tech. Like I
Yeah.
see that a lot, and I love that, and I love that you're still out there, man. Just the school means a lot to you.
For
The
sure.
teams mean a lot to you. Um, how what caused you to have that? And you see it in Mahomes. Like you see some of these ex tech grads, whether they went on to the next level or not,
For sure.
they just still have this strong passion towards tech. As you've transitioned, um, is there something that was done there skill wise that you appreciate so much that now that you're a professional, or is it just the fact that they gave you a shot and so that's what that you're appreciative of that?
Yeah, I mean, for one, being 85 miles from Tech, it was just always the school I wanted to be at.
Sure.
That
Yeah.
helped. And then once I got here, just our off-season program, like things we went through, just made us super close.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and we didn't have an indoor, we didn't have anything that what they have now. So, I mean, fall camp was outside. There's no indoor. Spring ball was outside, 20 degrees. Like we just went through a lot with very minimal resources when you compare it to what we have now.
Yeah.
Uh, and man, I think we got so close because any chance we got to like once we're all outside of the facility, we were just always together. Like we were just brothers, and it was just
Yeah. It's
so
that brotherhood,
it's
man.
that brotherhood.
Yeah.
And we were so talented, even though we are winning 7, 8 games a year, we were just so good, and we still have our tech group chat that we text in anytime there's a tech
Mm-hmm.
game, football, basketball, it doesn't matter. We just love our school, and I think uh, one thing about Cliff, he wasn't necessarily a culture builder, but everybody that was on that team appreciated everybody in that facility.
Yeah.
Like the vibes were just high,
Sure.
and so we had a lot of fun. We probably could have paid more attention to the detail and like the wellness part of things,
Yeah.
but when it was time to work, we knew it was time to work. And Cliff was kind of the same way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like hell of a coach, but when anytime he got a chance, like he was doing his own thing too. So we balanced it out. Probably could have done a little bit more in some areas, but I think we just love it because of the way we were able to balance it and have a lot of fun, play really hard, and just get better and strive for one goal together.
Yeah.
That was just special.
So now that you're a professional, um, is it is it those memories and like the going through the trenches with those guys and dealing with adversity, and overcoming some of those adversities? Is that what has translated to your success now being a real estate agent? Or would you say, you know, maybe I don't want to get too generic, right?
Sure.
It's like, yeah, my hard work. Everybody
Yeah,
says that,
yeah,
like, right?
yeah,
Well, hard
yeah,
work. Yeah, we all know hard work pays
for
off, right?
sure.
But is there something that you can pinpoint to say, I took this away? Maybe not even from tech. It could be from when you were, in high school.
Yeah,
Is there a trait that you've either had, something you acquired along the way, and that even maybe was the main focus? Maybe we're about to get into what you were talking about,
yeah.
switching over to being a safety after playing offense your whole life.
Hmm.
Like what was it that was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna be a real estate agent and I'm gonna succeed at it.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think that whole transition was just like it sucked in the moment, but I think hindsight, looking back, it really just grew my capacity for like emotional regulation, right?
Okay.
Like I just had every thought you could imagine of like, God, this is what I want to do. I should transfer, just all the thoughts, but like put my head down and worked, even if I didn't love it. So even while like probably like through college, my love for the game was going down, my capacity for emotional regulation was going up. I could deal with a lot, right? Because I had a lot on
Mm-hmm.
my plate and I had to compete at a high level. Do I even love this anymore? Like all the thoughts you could imagine. So now, like I feel like I have the capacity to treat people really well, no matter how I'm feeling, right? Just because I've
Right.
I've already been through the worst of the worst.
Mm-hmm.
So like problems nowadays, especially in business, are just so small, and they may be big to another realtor, but to me, it's like, oh, this is small. I can knock this out. Stay regulated, calm them down, be a good dad, show up for my friends. Like it's just so easy to maintain everything in my life now because I had the threshold is just so high from everything I went through at tech.
Yeah.
So that's definitely helped. Just to get back to what you're saying, I give a lot to the transition from offense to defense was just major for me. Um, but yeah, like it was just a lot. Like playing in the Big 12 in the Power Five puts a lot on your plate. So now it's just easy to show up for people at a high level. And like I think it goes back to everything I learned at Snyder and through tech. Like I got to take care of myself first so I can take care of other people. Like if I that's why I take performance, health, and wellness so serious still
Mm-hmm.
today because I feel like that was the foundation that got me through everything. So for me, it's just it may sound selfish, but it's like, man, Keenan's got to take care of Keenan before he can think about being a good realtor, being a dad, being a good friend.
Yeah.
But once I do, I can literally run my day with ease because I've taken care of me, and maybe just my baseline's higher
Yeah.
than most, but I just I take high importance to that for sure.
I think that's something that's missing a lot in today's world. We overstretch ourselves,
Yeah,
and I know individuals that are very caring and compassionate and give everything they have to everybody else, um, and maybe are even successful, but they're not fulfilled.
right.
You know, there's a difference between selfish and self care, right?
Absolutely.
And I think you've got to fill your cup first so you can out overflow into others'
Exactly.
cups,
Every
right?
time.
If your cup's always empty, people are getting, and I tell my wife this all the time. If we don't take care of ourselves, if we're grumpy and don't sleep well and not eating right and not exercising, we're giving not the best version of ourselves to our kids, to the
Exactly.
people we work with. And so you hit on it. It's not selfish to want to better yourself, right?
Right.
That's divinity that's been given to us by God to try and achieve the highest version of ourselves, because that identity isn't an identity of it's not our identity. It's
Right.
something we've been gifted through Him, right? So
Exactly.
so working towards that, to achieve that, to so that you can love on people, so I can be a better physical therapist and performance coach, so that you can be a better real estate agent, so that we can be better fathers. We've got to start within ourselves
Yeah.
first, so we can outpour into others. So I think that's spot on, man. That's something that I really share with you, as far as what's one of the most important traits is not thinking that taking care of yourself is selfish, but then also you mentioned emotional regulation,
Man,
you know,
it's
because
everything.
life's gonna and I think some of that emotional regulation just comes from knowing your self-worth. No, they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
You take care of yourself, you feel better about yourself, it's easier for you to find that identity, right?
Yeah, every time,
And then
every
it's
single
much
time.
easier to recognize emotional regulation.
Mhm.
So when something out of your control, doesn't go your way, you're like, I'm good,
Yeah,
because
just
I
keep it
can still
moving
bet on me. I got to keep
every
it
time.
moving, right? So,
Exactly, control what you
that's
can,
good.
control
Yeah.
what you can, and yeah, like you said, stay regulated because chaos is gonna hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just life. People have problems, things are gonna come your way, like, but if you stay regulated and you're taking care of yourself, those problems seem so small when they come.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I
sure,
mean?
for sure. Are we good on time on that camera? Do we need to just keep going? Okay.
Cool, cool.
All right. So we're transitioning now. Obviously, we're talking more about adulthood, adulting,
Yeah,
uh, and it's hard,
it's a
man.
process,
Yeah,
man.
it is. It's a never-ending journey of growth.
Amen.
So, what? Okay, so I kind of want to know, man. Like, I've always considered myself. I had some issues with identity. So
Sure.
I'd love to see the contrast of people here. Like, you knew, obviously you didn't know me well in high school. You probably knew of me. I
Yeah,
think most
we're
people,
all family. Like I knew of you, but the gap was the gap.
right,
You were a
right.
senior when I was in seventh grade,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I looked up to you. I knew you worked hard, so like
sure.
that's all that mattered.
And I think most people, what they would say about me is, I was a confident kid, and
Yeah.
I didn't have any any issues with with going out there and playing hard and working hard and things like that. But man, to be honest, like I struggled with identity a lot in high
Man,
school, and so I struggled with the confidence. I needed reassurance from other people, and because I didn't have it in myself.
right.
That played a big part into I had smaller offers going to to go play in
Mhm.
college, and honestly, man, it wasn't. I used the excuse that those offers weren't good enough to not go play,
Yeah,
when the truth was I didn't want to go play because I was afraid to fail.
right.
I was afraid. I would rather go to a tech or something like that and maybe fail there, because
Right.
like, well, it's hard to succeed there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
Power
going
5.
West Texas A&M or San Angelo State,
It had to work. Like
uh,
you had to make it, and if you didn't, then
right, right. And so
yeah,
I let that fear, it froze me, So I didn't have guidance during that time. We talk now. There's a lot of sports psychologists and mindset coaches. I would have loved to, because I think that I would have felt much more reassured about my decision if I didn't want to go play.
yeah,
But instead I let fear kind of make that decision for me,
for sure,
And so seeing the confidence level and always having to something to prove in the chip on your shoulders, I think it's something that really can speak to our youth.
for
You
sure.
got to believe in yourself first before
Got
anybody
to,
else does,
got to.
And so that's something that we try and talk to our kids here. And I try to use my story, my testimony. Hey, I had offers, but because I was afraid to fail in college, I turned those down.
Yeah,
You only get a small window
man,
to
I
go
know.
play college sports.
Yeah,
You know, I could switch careers right now. I could go into real estate. I
for
can go
sure.
back to school and, I don't know, be an engineer,
Yeah,
go to medical school.
absolutely.
I ain't gonna go back and play college football.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe if I get the injuries healed up, maybe I can.
yeah.
No, I'm
Hey,
joking. But
hey,
anyway,
take advantage, brother.
that's kind of the mindset I have that I'm trying to get at. So in my mind, I still consider myself an athlete.
Absolutely.
I still train very much like one. It's a little different. My seasons change in my training, but I still like to retain some level of athletic performance. I
Hmm.
think part of that is obviously the industry that I work in.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
have to demonstrate a lot. And honestly, like, you want to show these kids like you still got it sometimes,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
which that's maybe get a little bit of the ego show in there. But do you kind of feel the same way, or do you feel like your training has changed, or there's been a transition in the thought process of your training to where it's completely more about just health, maybe also, to be honest, carrying yourself around with a certain stature,
Yeah, for sure. That's important to
or
me.
is it all, or is it still like, I still consider myself an athlete? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
No, yeah, it's a good question. I think one side of me is like always going to be that athlete, always, and I have no problem people seeing me that way. the
Yeah.
football player who's a realtor. Like that's fine.
Sure.
I mean, every important thing I've taken from football and instilled in my life now, like I have no shame in you calling me a football player. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
And on the other side, I think the stature and the confidence that it gives people that I work with, like, hey, that guy takes care of himself. I know he can take care of
Mm-hmm.
me. That's important. I feel like
Right.
that impression of like he's dialed in his
Yeah.
life and it shows matters to me.
Yeah.
So I take that part of it serious too. But yeah, like raising a son, I want to be the example for him, what hard work looks like, what being an athlete looks like, because I never had that. So
Right.
I just know that's going to set him up for success that I never even seen, that I never got to see when I was
Right.
growing up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mostly now just so like mental regulation, like recovery. Like how can I be the best Keenan for my clients, for my
Mm-hmm.
friends, for my son? Like that's the most important part of why I still train the way I do.
Right.
Um, just showing up for myself first. And I mean, I just find that, I mean, I feel like spiritually, I feel closer to God when I'm working out, when
Right.
I'm pushing myself.
It's a way of
It's
worship,
just,
man.
it is.
Yeah.
And I lean into that so heavy.
Yeah.
And it's just something that is a part of me at this point. Yeah, just taking care of me so I can be the best Keenan for everybody else is
Right.
the main reason I'm still dialed in.
Yeah. And I put some of that, I put a little bit of pressure on myself with that.
Absolutely.
Like when people come in here and they've been hurting for years or whatever, and I'm telling somebody, I turn around and I'm like, after their assessment, I'm telling them how weak they are and you range them. And then, obviously I lay this down nicer than that,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of weaknesses, range of motion deficits. It's hard. It would be very hard for me to start telling somebody, we got to get you to exercise more if I'm overweight
Right.
and, breathing hard and,
Right.
and not moving well. Right. And so a part of it is I'm very blessed that my career encourages me and pushes me to set myself apart
Yeah.
because people come in here and they're like, I don't know if that guy knows what he's talking about, but he sure looks like he knows what he's
Exactly.
talking about. And that's
Exactly.
the initial boost of like that's the initial trust gain that you get, right?
1000%.
Because people are visual. They see something first, but then they open up that cover and hopefully the
Yeah.
the book matches the cover too,
Yeah. If you're a
right?
person who takes first impressions highly, then I'm gonna make sure I check that box off
Sure.
of
Yeah.
because that's something I can control.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take care of myself so that that first impression, if it's important to you, then I'm gonna check that off the
Yeah,
list.
yeah,
You know
and
what I mean?
so I totally get that as far as us. When I say it all the time here at Pinnacle, we walk our talk.
Thousand percent.
You're not gonna find somebody in this building who isn't at least thinking about, okay, I gotta get moving. I gotta start doing better health wise
For
for
sure.
myself because I see these people around here and they're all performing at a high level,
Hmm.
and a big part of that is because we all care about our health.
Yeah.
I think that's a super important factor in just being a professional.
Yeah. I just feel like it's the engine to every avenue of life. I mean, you take care of yourself, man. Everything else on the outside, like outside of your health, is just better. It's easier. There's just nothing that I can think of in my life that isn't that me taking care of myself from a health standpoint
Hmm.
takes a hit. It literally boosts every single department of my life.
I agree 100% because there's no pill out there, there's no medicine, nothing you can do passively that hits every aspect of our systems from musculoskeletal to neuromuscular to integumentary, or our organs, our sexual organs,
Yeah.
everything, our mindset. Exercise
Amen.
literally hits all of that in
Bro,
a positive way, right?
1000%.
And if you're somebody trying to get to a new level of life, but you ain't exercising, you ain't gonna make that leap, man.
Yeah.
Or it would be much easier if you start doing
I'm
legs to
telling you.
make that
I'm
jump. You
telling
know what
you.
I'm saying?
It's a fact.
And so, and then if you are operating as a professional, you own your own business, and you're being and God has blessed you with fruit of being successful in your business, and you're not exercising, and you're always tired, and you're feeling run down, man. Just start moving.
Yeah.
I guarantee you're going to feel better and make it consistent, and it's going to impact your business, which is going to make you feel better, which you're going to go home happier. The wife's going to love you more. You're going to have more energy to play with your kids. It all starts with movement and exercise. Okay.
Every single time, brother.
So when we're talking about that, tell me what does, obviously your training probably looks much different
Oh,
now
yeah.
than it did back when you were, when you're like, I need to train back then, we talked about it. You were training to be an athlete for your
Yeah.
body to perform. What does your training look like now?
It's 6 days a week. It's yeah, the the cardio is definitely trimmed down tremendously.
Yeah,
Like I'm trying to get back into the high intensity aspect of it, but
sure.
it's just a rotation, legs, upper body every single day. I throw in some mobility work.
Yeah,
Abs are getting hit every
nice.
day. Getting back into running.
Yeah,
Obviously, that's
yeah,
been good if I can get past these shin splints, but that's been nice. But yeah, it's just literally just moving my body every day.
yeah.
I'm not really maxing now. It's more so just keeping the stature alive, pushing myself every now and then with lower sets, higher weight. But man, it's just maintaining. It's
Okay,
just yeah, just making sure I get in the gym and do something. Once I'm there, I'm good. So just staying
okay.
consistent with showing up and moving my body.
I think the biggest thing, the biggest three pillars for especially for guys 30 and over: strength, mobility, cardiovascular. If
Yep.
you can hit those, you're doing pretty well in the gym.
Amen.
Okay, man. I got a question to ask you, and then we can wrap this up.
Love it.
Um, if you obviously know about our new facility
Yeah.
that we're opening up here. Um, Tell me what do you need in a facility that would check all the boxes where you're walk in day one and you would say, you know what, I don't need to go nowhere else for anything. And we're talking
Mm,
not just about a gym, but that checks the boxes for your other aspects of your health. What would be your dream place?
that's a great question. For me, having enough free weights is big for me. I'm a big free weight guy, old
Okay.
school. Enough cardio machines, treadmills or bicycles or stair climbers, whatever. Just having
Hmm.
enough of those. Usually, hopefully, on a higher deck. Those are cool.
Yeah.
Good views. Having enough turf space to get your mobility work in, um, or abs or anything med ball related. Just
Hmm.
having that turf space to get loose if you need to.
Yeah.
And then recovery. I mean, as I get older, it's always been important, but the baseline for my recovery is just getting higher. So
Right.
you can walk into a gym and they have cold plunge, hot tub, sauna, red light therapy. Like that's just next level stuff
Yeah.
that I take advantage of every chance I get
Yeah.
nowadays. And having that in house in one gym would be amazing. The people, having good people who give back to their communities are good husbands, wives. I think you are who you surround yourself with. And I
Absolutely.
mean, I feel like you just end up getting really close to a lot of people in the gym just because,
Yeah.
I mean, if they're consistent, I know I'm going to be there. So I've made a lot of friends in the gym. So that's important on another side of it.
The community
The
aspect of it.
community aspect of it. Not that it has to be like a culture or like anything like that, but just having good people in the gym matters
Yep.
for sure.
Okay.
The childcare aspect, I guess Carter's really growing out of that, but having somewhere to take your kid where you can just let go and know that he's taken care of is
Hmm.
massive. Um, and like I don't know, like I know you guys are adding pickleball courts to y'all's new gym, which is crazy. Like I feel like I'd never leave at this point with the recovery, with the pickleball courts, with the shared access to the pool. Like that's nuts. That's everything you could ask for, at least for me. I don't need much, but those four things are really it's just a game changer. Like I'd make the switch if you're looking for top notch recovery, enough space to get your weights in, whether that's free weights or machines, tons of cardio machines and pickleball courts if you want to hang out after and get some extra cardio. Like that's a game changer.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we check most of those boxes for you.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to ask you, man, if you had any advice for the youth athletes that may be watching this, what's the number one piece of advice that you would give them on kids that are chasing a similar dream that you've been able to achieve?
No, yeah, that's a good question. I think for me it would be to play every sport that you can. I think there's real benefits to taking advantage of playing basketball, playing baseball, playing football, running track. It makes you a better athlete. It forces you to put you in uncomfortable situations, maybe things that you don't love, but it makes you a better teammate. It just sharpens up your discipline. It makes you accountable, showing up for your teammates, especially for something that you maybe don't love. I think that's important. Um, and just blocking out the noise. I know now it's probably hard with social media to feel like you're not doing enough or you could be doing this, but trusting your coaches, work hard, and good things happen. You don't have to be recording or doing all this all the time. Like just work hard, and the coaches will come find you. But trust your coaches and trust your parents, and keep your head down. Good things happen.
That's good. All right, man. Last thing, I got a gift for you. It's been sitting here the whole time.
That's awesome,
This is a
bro.
Bible that I got with your name on it.
That is sick, bro.
It's a leadership Bible, so
That's
that
dope.
with you being essentially,
Thank you, bro.
you're welcome. With you being your own boss in real estate, um, there's going to be things in there. And you already know this, man. There's going to be times when you're going to be met with adversity. Deals are going to fall through,
For sure.
and all the answers are there for you. Okay, and it's specifically made for leaders, so that way you can find things in Scripture and they can maybe apply them to the season of leadership that you're in.
Yeah,
So
I
I
love
hope
that.
that gives you lots of answers,
That's
man.
awesome, bro.
And I again thank you for joining me in this podcast. I was super excited about having you. Like I said, I'm super excited about how the Lord's kind of converged our paths again.
Yeah.
And I look forward to just continuing to grow that friendship, man.
Yeah, no doubt. 325 forever.
Yeah, 325 forever. Let's
Let's go.
let's end it at that. All right.
Love it.
Cool.